Hi everyone, it's Norman Kochnick here. A little bit late. Well, not really. The game starts in another hour and 15 minutes time. So we normally go 2 hours. So I think an hour and 15 is probably a good time for today, being the second day of play. We've had an incredible, I wouldn't say incredible, but a substantial first day's play. I'm joined by Nalakshi Sharma today. We've got a few other people joining a bit later, but Nalakshi's good enough to join us from your part. How are things going in India, where you are?
It's a bit steady here right now in Assam, but in states like Maharashtra, it's still critical.
Okay, that's good. You might want to move more to your left. Actually, your left. You move. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. All right, Munchie. So what has Munchie got to offer us today? Munchie's the weather forecast looks good. Now look, as you know, everyone, this is the second day of the test match between England and New Zealand. The first test was an unfortunate draw, rather unfortunate ending, despite New Zealand giving every opportunity to England to try to chase the score down at the end. They didn't do so. So hi everyone, Munchie, Ashish, obviously Manhar Singh. They'll actually join us from the screens rather than from the live chat. So in this match, of course, England won the toss and elected to bat. There's been 6 changes. I forgot to mention last night about de Grunholm, then he's being rested as well, but I'm assuming he will be in the test scene for the World Test Championship. But having 6 players out, namely Jamieson, de Grunholm, Southey, Santner, Williamson and Watling, I'd say out of those 6 players, I think all 6 will probably be fit and ready for the next match. Whether Santner plays, I'm not sure. Whether some of the other bowlers that are performing well, so they may well force their way in. I think both Matt Henry and the likes of obviously bowled pretty well. I'll get the idea of everybody's thoughts on how Patel bowled. Patel didn't do too badly. I mean, I would say he's looked pretty good with his left arm orthodox. And then Daryl Mitchell, well, he bowled steady without doing anything too flash. Wagner was his typical self. He was a little bit, it wasn't really expensive, but relatively expensive. So the match, Munchie's saying he doesn't see Santner being picked. I would argue that he probably won't be. Patel may keep his position, or they may not have a spinner at all. In fact, they're probably more likely not to have a spinner. Munchie, your thoughts? I'll get your thoughts on the pitch because Chris Vernon's still in Scotland. Nalakshi, have you been seeing his pictures? Nalakshi of Chris in, I think, Northern England, the highest point of England. In fact, he's in Scotland.
He did told me yesterday that he's in Scotland.
He's playing cricket up there for his MCC team, I believe. I'm trying to get him to come on air, but it's a bit difficult when he's obviously a million miles from his home. He hasn't got regular conditions. So England are 7 for 2. Sorry?
How was your birthday, Norman, yesterday?
My birthday? Well, after I did my show, I went out with a few people to a restaurant, Yashpal and Mitti's. Mitty Shah, the restaurant called... it's a lovely restaurant called Masala Theory, and I had some lovely Indian food. We had a bit of a party. My son saw me as well, but yeah, all very good. All very good. It was very nice. So I'm now 31, maybe 29. I can't remember exactly. And don't ask me my age. I'm not going to tell you. You can work it out.
I know.
All right.
I already know.
Well, you're not going to say anything live on air. I'll kill you. I'll kill you very quick. Have you ever been killed from a long distance? I'll find a way. All right. So... yeah, so the main thing is, of course, so Ashish has asked how many cakes I have. How many? Okay, let's make a guessing contest. How many cakes do you think I had? Well, I could say one big fat cake. I certainly had one big piece of a cake, big chocolate cake. I was too much left over, actually. But it's freezing. It's absolutely freezing here in Australia. It was 6 degrees Celsius, which is freezing for this time. It's way too hot. Shreya Gayatri, she actually, there's an intra-test stage today between India and India, that's right, but no live streaming anywhere. Watch watched Cricket Info. Yeah, Cricket Info's got the stats, but there's an intra-India match, which is good that India can do that while New Zealand are playing England. At least that's something. Munchie's saying the weather conditions are swing, should allow some swing today, and tomorrow Sunday looks to be hot, English hot and sunny. So, what was your outfit? Your outfit birthday? What was I wearing for my outfit? Nothing special. Yeah, it was 6 degrees, Munchies. Ray, I should wear a Marga hat. What's a Marga hat, mate? What's a Marga hat? So what's a Marga hat, Nalakshi?
Sorry?
What's this? Wear a Marga hat.
Mark?
Look at the screen.
Sorry, I don't get it.
There is in fact, Ray is asking me what type of hat I should wear. I should wear a Marga hat. I'm not sure what a Marga hat is. No, Munchie, I was not wearing my birthday suit. I can assure you. A Trump hat. A Trump hat, yeah. That's kind of like a make America great again. Oh, I see. I get you. Now I know what MAGA stands for. Okay, all right. Did you know that? No, actually, the MAGA, M-A-G-A, is Make America Great Again. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know that.
Donald Trump had the hat saying "Make America Great Again." It was a red hat. He would wear that for all his rallies. That's what they're talking about. I'm a bit behind the 8 ball there. I didn't realise that. All right, so I have been saying a lot about the England batting side. Like Rory Burns got 81 and batted quite capably yet again. He's proving to be good stuff. Sibley was okay at 35, but Zach Crawley failed. Joe Root failed. Ollie Pope played a very bad shot. He got caught behind off an attempted cut shot. James Bracey got out first ball. The poor unfortunate luck he's had so far. Ollie Stone and Mark Wood put up some resistance, but the shock for me, or I shouldn't say shock, but I was pleasantly surprised, was to see Dan Lawrence not out 67. And he has not been consistent anyway. So Siddharth's meant to be coming for Sun. Any new guests? We've got a lot of guests. When it comes to the match between England and New Zealand, there aren't as many people available, but next game, the World Test Championship, there will be a lot of hosts. This is like an interim spot. Any special guests today? Wait and see, guys. We'll see. Siddharth should be here later. We've got Nalakshi here. She hasn't been a guest for a while. When was the last time you were on, Nalakshi?
In the IPL, I think.
Yeah, that's a while ago. All right, so let's have a look here.
I think that Ben Stokes will replace Jack Crawley, and that Butler will replace Bracey when they will play against India. What do you think?
I don't know whether Ben Stokes is available. I think have you heard that?
No, I'm just guessing because they are obviously not in their best form. Then Bracey is obviously going to replace someone. He got 2 ducks in a row.
Yeah, I don't know whether Ben Stokes is going to be fit to play, and Josh Butler, I don't know whether he is either, because there's been no comments by anyone as to their inclusions. If they were fit, I mean, there are something like 7 or 8 blokes out. They've got Ben Stokes out. They've got Ben Stokes, Butler, Bairstow, Sam Curran. They've got quite a few out, actually. They've got, obviously, Jofra Archer as well. He's also out. Who else have they got out? Is there anyone else I can think of?
But yeah, they will try to be in full strength against India.
Well, I'm not sure what England's got available. I don't think Ben Stokes, I don't think Stokes is playing again. Okay, so Munchie's saying he's playing again, but he's not going to be ready for the 18th. That's way too early. If he's just starting his rehab, then he'll be several weeks away. And obviously Ben Folkes is another. He was another person. And Wokes. They're the other two. Ben Folkes, Chris Wokes. And why is Wokes not playing? I don't know. I'm a bit confused. I thought he would have been the first all-rounder picked. ahead of other players. But yeah, so he mustn't be ready. He mustn't be fit. So Ben Stokes, Chris Wokes, Ben Folkes as opposed to Stokes. And you've got Bairstow, Butler, Jofra Archer, Sam Curran, and one other batter. I can't think of who that is offhand, but there's quite a few players out. More than enough to be in this side. So Rory Burns and Dom Sibley will stay. Gee, Zach Crawley's a very good bat. He's a very good bat. He's just not getting any form his way. Why can't Mahmood or Sam Billings or any of the other batsmen from country system play? Well, that's a good point. Several good points there. Crawley's throwing his wicket. Any about Jack Leach? Well, he should also be in the side based on the spinner. They haven't got a spinner in that side.
Yesterday, I was surprised to see spinners taking a couple of wickets.
Who?
Patel took a couple of wickets.
Yeah, he played very well for New Zealand.
Yeah, really. Never thought
good left arm.
Yeah.
He's a very good left arm.
Had some twists and turns like.
Yeah. A lot of interesting developments going to happen with the team. So we're getting Hamid. He is in the squad. Billings is in the squad, just sitting and watching the test. So they're not playing. What are you saying now? We've got a few people running. Well, everyone's talking about Jack Leach not being in the side. There's no proper spinner. I don't know whether that's going to be the problem. So Crawley should open with Burns and Sibley go to first drop. That's the thought. Maybe that could be a better selection grouping of it. I can see. So I do think there's a lot to be said about that selection. I just don't know whether they're going to. I think they're going to keep Sibley and Burns as openers. And look, Zach Crawley is more than capable of staying up the order. I don't think there's any issue there. Yeah. So Munchie's talking so much on the message. He should be live to air. Yeah, Patel Gamers is talking about Dom Bess. So what else is happening in India, Nalakshi? What did you watch the team selection for the B side with Shikhar Dhawan has been sent across?
Yeah, I did saw they did announce the team playing.
Yeah. Well, they have announced the team. If you look to my community page, you'll see a lot more. So Munchie's saying that Best was brought. If Best has been brought into the squad, Munchie. Sorry.
Bhuvneshwar Kumar will be the vice captain, and Shikhar Dhawan will be the skipper.
Kumar, yeah. Interesting. Kumar could well have played in these test matches. Just a point.
Ishan wicketkeeper.
Sorry?
Ishan Kishan will be the wicketkeeper.
He's playing.
Yeah, he's the wicketkeeper.
Correct. So, Chris Wokes is an interesting one. Dom Bess was in the squad, but he was not picked, and nor was Jack Leach. So they're obviously not considered bowling any spinners in the team. So meetings at 10 to 11 for Munchie. So you got to go to your. So enjoy the cricket. We'll catch up with you tomorrow. Yes, it'll be on a bit early tomorrow. Thanks, Munchie, for coming. So Patel Gamers has put through the Indian squad there, and it's an interesting one with Shikhar Dhawan, Prithvi Shaw, Padikkal, Ruturaj Gaikwad, Sky Yadav, Manish Pandey, Hardik Pandya, Nitish Rana, Ishan Kishan, Sanju Sampson. There's certainly a large part of the squad. There's a lot more players in that squad, I think, but it's quite a. It's a great squad, but it's a great squad. But they're playing in Sri Lanka and not. It's a short form version of the game. A lot of rewards there for the IPL. So the IPL, what do you know of the IPL election? It's restarting what date? September 19th or 17th? I can't remember now.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Okay. Yeah, so it starts in September and goes through to early October, some October 10th date. There'll be several double headers. It'll be very interesting. I can't bring on Sadat if he's not available. He tried to make himself available. We'll just see where he is. See if I can get Sadat. And Debash is also another person who's. People are saying that it's just a bad time of the day for some of these people, especially in India. I'm going to just see what the Sadat's coming.
So,
All right.
Who player of the day for yesterday's match?
Player of the day.
Yeah.
I think Dan Lawrence. Sadat, are you coming?
For me, it was Henry.
Kuldeep Yadav is also in and Chahal. Deepak Chahal is there as well. Chetan Sakaraya is in the squad. So what we had earlier from Patel was mainly the batters. In fact, now we also there's a full squad. Then we had the bowling was Yuzendra Chahal, Rahul Chahar, Golthar. Quite a few people there. Sadat.
Hi, Norman. So sorry. Meetings, interviews galore. Oof.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We were just going through some of the aspects of the. And you've met Nalakshi before, have you, Nalakshi? Sadat, have you met Nalakshi?
No, I haven't. Hi.
Hi.
And Nalakshi is in. Tell Nalakshi where what part of India you're in. Tell Sadat what part of India you are in.
I'm from Assam.
Oh, nice. Superb.
And
I'm from Delhi.
And I'm from Goa.
No. Oh, you can't wear this attire in Goa, Norman. Sorry, please. It's sacrilege.
Oh, come on.
You should have said Kashmir. I would have believed you.
I always say I'm from Bambalapitiya in Sri Lanka, actually.
That's a superb place, Bambalapitiya. Lovely place.
Oh yeah, near Majestic City, lovely place.
Yes.
Now we were just what was with Nalakshi we're talking about the first day's play. Dan Lawrence shocked me. He batted quite well. He certainly didn't bat. He wasn't flashy, but he batted well.
Indeed, proved you wrong, Norman.
He did.
He was just under pressure, and as soon as the keeper got out, and the tailenders had to manage to the rest of the match. Yeah. So he was under pressure, so he had to perform.
Well, that's true. I guess he did have to perform because. So, Siddharth, we're asking Munshi, why is Chris Wokes not playing? Why is he not in the selection squad? Is he injured still?
No, I think they want to give Wokes and all the guys who played in the IPL a bit more rest so that they can even potentially play for the 100 and also the India tests. The main focus is primarily the India tests. So the likes of Sam Curran, the likes of Ben Stokes, Johnny Bairstow, they are not playing at this point in time. They'll all be fit for the India series. That's in August.
So we were talking about the players that are not. We mentioned it, I think, on the other day. Stokes, Wokes, and folks. Curran, Butler, Bairstow, Jofra, Archer. There's your 7.
Yeah, but I think Archer will not be fit because his elbow injury is really troublesome. I think he will miss the entire summer. Hopefully, England will be hoping that he's fit for the World T20 and the Ashes. I think they want him primarily for the Ashes.
I hope he's not ready for the Ashes. We'll have to find some way to injure him again.
No. Of course.
No, but okay. So while this is all happening with this match between England and New Zealand, obviously India's playing a so-called intra-team game today.
Yep, they are.
And it's apparently been covered on Quick Info, or I'm not sure. Are they covering it in terms of not the visual, but the game?
I don't think so. They didn't cover the New Zealand intra squad. I don't know whether they'll cover the India squad because there's no one at the ground. No one's allowed at the ground. How will they cover? I just don't know.
No. Oh no. What else they cover? I mean, scores must be kept. I'm assuming someone's keeping score.
Yeah, I hope. Let's see.
well, it's kind of good. New Zealand without 7 players yesterday. Of course, they had Elijah de Granholm, which I forgot to mention yesterday. De Granholm, obviously, you got Jameson, of course. You had Southey out.
Southey.
You had Santner. You had Williamson. You had
Watling.
It's quite a few. They had 6 out in the end, didn't they?
Yes, yes.
So, okay, give me your take on the first day's play. 7 for 258. Guys, what was your take?
I think New Zealand surprised me. Their depth stood up. The likes of Henry, Bolt, they had a bad start. I mean, Rory Burns and Zach Crawley had a good opening stand. But they recovered in fine style. Again, India should take note from this. They saw the new ball, but then the old ball did the damage. Bowling in the right areas, in the right channel. So, yes, in the Duke's ball, India had to be equally cautious.
I would argue the Duke's ball actually brings a bit of a leveler. The bowlers are somewhat in a better light. Now, Trent Boult and Matt Henry both bowled well. Neil Wagner bowled his typical bowling spell, I think. Daryl Mitchell was...
New Zealand bowlers really stepped up, especially Henry.
They stepped up. Yeah, they did.
They didn't lose any wickets, but in second innings, you say they lost 4 wickets, 3 in a row.
That's true.
Yes.
Daryl Mitchell, well, I didn't think much of him. He's an all-rounder.
But he's more of a T20 style all-rounder. I don't know whether he's cut out for tests, I suppose. But with the bat, he may be solid. But with the ball, I have my doubts with Daryl Mitchell. But he's a good, solid T20 guy. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think much of him. I mean, we've also not included Blundell as well as the keeper. So Daryl Mitchell, what's wrong with de Granholm? Did they say he was rested?
Rested for the India match.
Yeah, but why would he be rested? He didn't do that much.
I was stunned by why they even left out Saudi. Because I can understand Jameson. Being rested because he was there for the entire IPL. He was there for the entire bio bubble with the Maldives contingent. He played and bowled 30 overs in the Lord's Test. So I can understand Jameson getting a rest.
Yeah.
But Saudi, he didn't play the IPL. He did not play any of the games for the last 2 months. He wasn't even in the bio bubble. You play at Lords, you take 6 wickets, but you drop him for the Edgbaston Test. Doesn't make sense.
Well, the word drop is not the right word. It's
rested. Yes.
Yeah, okay. I don't understand Saudi. I certainly don't understand de Granholm either, because he's not a stallion. He's not like he comes in with a big run up, really. So that's a bit of a shock. And
but I think de Granholm is coming off a big surgery. So I think they would not want to aggravate that by rushing him for 3 tests in a row. Maybe that's the reasoning they may have not picked him up regularly. That's maybe one of the reasons.
So, Ajaz Patel?
No, again, very surprising. I mean, he did bowl well. I mean, that Edgbaston wicket was assisting even the pace, even the spinners. And remember, Ajaz Patel, for all we may consider him very, very underrated, he did give New Zealand a win against Pakistan in the UAE. 4 runs. Who can forget that match? I mean, I, for one, personally felt so glad that New Zealand managed to get the better of Pakistan in a test series.
Yeah,
so Matt Henry was at one stage ahead of...
Looked a little bit like Jadeja.
No, I mean,
there's a photograph of him.
Like straight balls, especially.
But Patel, Ajaz is a lot more slower than Ravindra Jadeja. Ravindra Jadeja bowls darts and finishes an over in 30 seconds. Ajaz doesn't finish an over in 30 seconds.
It was certainly interesting because has Ajaz Patel played himself into the test match for the World Test Championship? If Santner's not going to play...
No. I think the primary reason is Santner has much more effect with the bat. Yeah. Ajaz Patel doesn't. I mean, for all you may say, Santner doesn't look like a proper test all-rounder, but he actually has a test century against England. He
Yes.
is calm under pressure, so you cannot argue that Santner is not valuable. He can, in days 4 and 5, he can be a threat. So yes, I would say my bowling lineup for New Zealand is plain and simple. Bolt, Southee, Wagner, Jameson, Santner, with de Grandhomme as your sixth option.
Yeah, I mean, New Zealand are following a rotation policy. They are. There's an element of that going on.
Well, I
Sure.
mean, they have to follow the rotation policy for some players because Williamson's got a niggle. Watling unfortunately suffered a elbow injury, I mean a back injury. You had to rest Jameson because he was coming off a long season. Southee is the only reason that I find it very surprising why you have to rotate Tim Southee. Because if you're going by that philosophy, you could have rested Wagner also. Why you are not resting Wagner? He's your workhorse. He broke 2 toes on his foot, yet he bowled 27 overs.
He'd bowl if he was knocked out by a truck, though.
Oh, legend. Neil Wagner is a legend. And the New Zealand bowling lineup, Patel gamers, I have mentioned that. Bolt, Southee, Jameson, Wagner, Santner, de Grandhomme.
Yeah, so I think de Grandhomme he'll be playing. I think the first test side's pretty much their side.
Yep.
Ray, I am taking questions, mate. He keeps asking me. We are. We can't answer questions all the time. We're going to have a bit of a discussion as well. Okay, so you want to talk? We can talk a bit about this today. I do want to talk a bit about this. We started, didn't we? No, actually, we started talking about it earlier. We can quickly digress that for a moment. We have the sides up a bit earlier. I've seen the sides are there.
Yeah.
Let me get them up. Okay, that's more. They got the Vizenda, Chahar, Gautam. I don't know much about Gautam. What's Gautham's story?
Krishnappa Gautam. He was picked for rupees 9.25 crore by Chennai Super Kings in IPL 2021. So he is a bowling all-rounder. He's a off-spinner who can open the bowling. But he's a power hitter in the lower order. So he can hit sixes. He did help Rajasthan Royals over the line against Mumbai Indians a couple of seasons back with the bat. And he does provide breakthroughs early on with his off-spin. So he can be used as an opening bowler. He's your death overs batting option. So that is about. He primarily plays in the Karnataka Premier League. He got his stature from the Karnataka Premier League.
Oh, I wish Colby up. So,
Right?
Pardon?
Varun Chakravarti. He's
Oh.
also playing.
Varun Chakravarti, I think he's a jinx, I suppose. He's been jinxed for the last couple of months.
Yeah.
Nilakshi, I would like to say that Varun Chakravarti has been jinxed. He missed the yo-yo. He failed the yo-yo test, couldn't get picked in the Australia series.
Yeah, against England match in India, when they came in India, Varun Chakravarti was selected, but he failed the yo-yo test.
He again failed the yo-yo test. And on top of that, because he got COVID, the entire IPL got postponed as well. Varun Chakravarti, and there's one more name, Sandeep Warrior. Warrior's also in the net bowlers list in that squad. Sandeep Warrior and Varun Chakravarti tested positive. They spread it to the rest and IPL 2021 postponed.
when they say net bowlers, they really should call them not net bowlers. They should say reserve players.
Yeah, backup bowlers, reserve players. Yeah,
But no, or they basically are in the pecking order to play. They're not just net bowlers. That's a rather demeaning term. They may do net bowling, yes, but they are effectively fringe players for the squad. So they're above millions of Indians. They're not just net bowlers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean the same philosophy that you had overseas. Chose to bowl, chose to bat, something of that kind.
No, chose to chase.
Chose to chase, yeah.
I don't believe anyone elects to field or chooses to chase. They want to bat or they want to bowl. That's the two terms. All right. I mean, then you got Kuldeep Yadav. Oh my God, he just seems to be continuously thrown around like a yo-yo. He doesn't seem to get a go.
As I
I
said,
guess.
3 games in 7 months of 3 different bio bubbles. That is Kuldeep Yadav's misfortune at this point in time. IPL 2020 bio bubble number 1, India versus Australia bio bubble 2, India England bio bubble 3, again IPL 2021 bio bubble. 4 bio bubbles for just 8 or 9 games in 7 months. What a tragedy for Kuldeep Yadav. I hope he gets a longer rope in the Sri Lanka series. I really do hope.
Well, she's been the first bowler picked in terms of spin, for sure.
Yep.
We've got also Bhuvi Kumar, who's vice captain, who must have been that close to going to England.
Yes, but fitness issues. I think he's not yet fit for the long haul of Test cricket, unfortunately. Constant injuries have hit him back and it has affected his rhythm big time.
What injuries has he had?
He's had a hamstring injury, he's had an ankle injury, he's had a knee injury, he's had a side strain. So it's basically his knee and hamstring that have taken a pummeling this time.
When your knee goes, your hamstring overcompensates, hence the hamstring goes, the groin muscle goes. It's like a cavalcade of injuries that come from one.
Yep.
So,
Indeed.
Navdeep Singh is another. And Cheetah Sakaraya. It's a pretty good squad. What'd you say?
I mean, Sakaria, even Nilakshi would know that the tragedy that Sakaria had to undergo. His brother died before the IPL auction. His dad died after the IPL was postponed because of the COVID situation. Had it not been for the IPL releasing the funds, Sakaria's father would not even have gotten treatment at a very good hospital. So
Sakaria also donated money for the foundation, right?
Yes.
For COVID.
Yep. He also contributed to the COVID fund in India. So luckily he plays the IPL. If he was a domestic player right now in India, he wouldn't even have gotten the funds. That's the situation. The domestic players have not been paid in India for the past 1.5 years.
So Sri Lanka are currently in England, aren't they?
Yes. Luckily that tour is happening. Because Norman, if you were aware, the players there had raised a big issue over pay. But somehow it got sorted. But as long as cricket is dominated by just 3 individuals, say Australia, England, India, the bridge between the haves and the have-nots will increase. There is no 2 ways about it. Because these 3 teams will play only amongst each other. The others will just be left to fend for themselves without much of broadcasting money, not much of sponsorship money. So the gap will increase. Sri Lankan cricket, the board is in dire financial situation. The financial condition of the Sri Lankan board is not that great. Neither is of Pakistan. Bangladesh is somehow floating through. Zimbabwe, I mean, I've been suffering for the last 15 years. Ever since that player revolt, they have suffered. Tragic.
Can you explain to me, please, why the Indian women's cricket side wasn't paid for several months?
Yeah. As I said, I mean, Nilakshi would be able to answer that much more clearly. The biases that we've got still for the Indian women's team and the men's team. Isn't it?
It's disgraceful.
Yeah.
See, basically, I will just tell one thing. Nilakshi and Norman, I'll just tell one thing. How would everybody of us feel if the men's team had not played for 364 days? How much? Would we have been raising, oh, the BCCI doesn't care about cricket, the ICC doesn't care about cricket? The women's team from that historic Melbourne final till now, they just played a total of 5 games. And that 5 games came after 364 days. By that time, even Pakistan had played against South Africa. West Indies had played against England. Australia played against New Zealand. But the Indian team didn't. Neither did the Sri Lankan team did.
Sri Lanka hasn't played.
Bangladesh haven't played.
Yeah.
And now you're overcompensating the team We are celebrating the fact that they're going to play 2 tests. 2. You're playing a test in England after 7 years. You're playing a test in Australia after 15 years. But still, 2 tests. Would the Australian and the English media have remained silent if the Ashes was not played for 10 years for the women?
No. And with Sri Lanka, they were meant to play India as well in women's cricket. That hasn't happened. So, yeah, okay. Go back to men for a minute. We got West Indies playing South Africa.
All out for 97.
Ugh, awful. Did
Awful.
Gale play in that match? No, he didn't. No.
No,
He's gone from Test. I heard the rumor that he was playing Test cricket again, but he's not.
no, he's not.
No.
He's not playing this match.
Okay. So, all right. And then, of course, we've got this particular match with England and New Zealand. Okay. So the score's at 7 for 258. You would.
What's the read on the first opening pair and its effectiveness, Siddharth?
Your voice is coming a bit low, Nilakshi. Can you just.
Siddharth, have you got
repeat
your
it?
microphone closer to your mouth?
Yeah, I think she doesn't have it. I can hear her, but very minutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me, Nilakshi.
What's your read on the opening pair and its effectiveness? I mean,
For
Burns
which
and
team?
Sibley.
Sibley,
England. Burns.
England. Oh, God. I mean, Rory Burns has a technique. Yeah, I mean, Burns and I can understand. But again, you have to understand, Nilakshi, that the opening combination for England has been a poison chalice ever since Alistair Cook retired, ever since Andrew Strauss retired. Cook didn't have a steady partner for 6 to 7 years. And when he left, the entire England opening combination has been screwed. I mean, honestly, Sibley looks solid. Okay. Sibley is solid, but I just can't figure out Burns' technique. Very unorthodox technique.
I think his technique will only work in England only, not in overseas.
Yeah, but again, it's like, it's very weird. I mean, Australia couldn't get figure out his technique in the Ashes. Neither did New Zealand in Lords. So he's somehow confounding. Although I sometimes feel bowlers are not bowling the right length to Burns. That's the thing that I feel. But otherwise, he's done okay. But tougher tests await him. Suppose if he goes to Australia, I think the likes of Sibley and Burns are going to have a real tough time in their hands. I think Sibley might be key because he's got a very compact technique. But yeah, he'll wear you down. He may play the role of Pujara in Australia. That's my take on this opening combination. Give them a long rope. Let's see how they perform in the India tests. Because if England are too eager, they'll again chop and change. That's not going to work.
In all fairness, they have individually done okay. I mean, Rory Burns scored 132 in the first test match. He scored another 81 in this match. You can't ask more from an opening batsman, can you?
Yeah, you can't. You can't.
And Sibley didn't do on the first innings, but he got 35 in the second, and they had a good opening partnership. Zach Crawley, when he plays in Australia, we'll see the true form of him because he loves the ball coming onto the bat. He loves the ball in Australian conditions.
Yeah.
So and he got that. What did he get? 267 against. Who was it against?
He got it against Sri Lanka, I suppose.
That's
no,
right.
Pakistan. He got it against Pakistan. Southampton.
Honestly, Dan Lawrence, your assessment of his 67. He was fairly, it wasn't the fastest scoring rate, but he did a good job to keep the innings together, considering they could have gone for a lot lower a score if he'd gotten out and the tail had dropped off. They could have been all out for around 220 or less. What's your assessment of Dan Lawrence's batting? What you saw yesterday?
To me or Nilakshi?
Either.
I didn't see Lawrence's batting, so I can't comment.
Okay, all right. Well, I did, and he...
Mark Wood, he's really holding out pretty well there.
Yeah. Say that again, Nilakshi.
I said I'm surprised to see Mark Wood he's really holding out there pretty well.
He's batting him, man. Yeah, he looked okay. Ollie Stone didn't do badly either. The reality was that Dan Lawrence had a lot more stability about his batting. He seems to be more of a dasher when he bats. He likes to play his shots. He seemed to be very conservative, which is a good sign considering where he's batting in the order.
Yes.
Because he normally bats higher in the order in a team. So he's batting well down, which it's actually very difficult to bat at 6 in a batting order if you're normally a top 3 batsman. It is difficult because you have to basically continue to score runs, but also make sure you control the strike and keep your wicket because you're protecting most of the lower order. So it's a difficult spot to bat, actually, unless you're a Fred like a Gilchrist. That would be the only difference between the two. But look, their score 258 is not enough. I don't think it's enough. If they'd be very lucky to get beyond 300. So that's barely par. I think 350 was the score they needed at the very least, considering it's more of a 5-day full test with the conditions being quite good weather-wise. The second day will show a lot more swing and movements. And if England are bowling, which they probably will be, New Zealand batting, that's going to be the true test of this match. What do you think, Siddharth?
Look, I think looking at how the match has been so far, looking at the weather and pitch conditions, there will be movement every day with the ball. With the older ball, there'll be much more movement. The Edgbaston wicket is an anomaly because you get more movement with the old ball rather than the new ball. You strike with the new ball, it's great. But with the old ball, it is still very, very difficult to get your eye in. That's why if you do well in Edgbaston, it will be a great test for you to come to Southampton. Because you would have already gotten used to the old ball. As you said, the Dukes is much more difficult with the old one rather than the new one.
Have you faced a Duke ball? Have you actually had a Duke ball? Have you faced it?
Yeah.
It is.
It's a delight to bowl with.
It's smaller. A much smaller ball.
Yep.
When it's in the bowler's hand, it's harder to see, and it's a lot harder. It does things much more pronounced. Very hard ball.
I found a delight to bowl with. And the pitches there were green. Get it in the right area. Delight to bowl.
Let's be honest, you look a much better bowler when you're bowling the Duke ball.
Indeed. Absolutely.
But an Australian would argue that they prefer the Kookaburra ball because it's harder, somewhat bigger.
Yeah.
And early on, it's a much more difficult ball to play.
Indeed.
No, actually, you have to get a Duke. You've got to get what are the balls in India?
SG.
SG, of course, SG ball. And I'm going to try and get all 3 and show the differences because a Duke ball, if I carry a Duke ball, I can't even see it in my hand. It's swallowed. It's not very big. Would you agree? How did you find the ball, Siddharth?
I somehow find it very difficult to grip the SG ball. Somehow, I don't know why.
Yeah.
The Kookaburra, I've not had a chance to play with the Kookaburra here, although because I only get the SG. Sometimes if I order it, I get the Dukes. But I don't get the Kookaburra. So I don't know how the Kookaburra feels like. The Dukes is a delight to hold with. So SG, I struggle with the grip.
You guys talk. I'll get the balls. I think I've got all 3. Hang on. Thanks.
Okay. Yes, Nilakshi?
No.
Okay, you're anyway getting compliments from the chat box that's there.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, you go to the comments bit, you can get a lot of things.
Wait.
Guys, you there?
Yep, we are here.
All right. That's a Kookaburra there. Signed by Jeff Thompson.
Wow.
So that ball, as you can see, hang on. It has a very pronounced seam, and it's a lot bigger. I mean, this is actually a Spartan ball, which is the Spartan company. This is a white ball. That's probably more the true side of the kookaburra. Quite big on the orange ball, which has Glenn McGrath's signature there.
Wow.
So these balls are these are more the kookaburra sizes. Very much very big. They're quite big balls. Whereas the Duke ball, I can literally go like that and you won't see it. But a kookaburra ball, I can't do that.
Okay.
So let's.
Can you play with SG ball?
Huh?
Can you play with SG ball?
In Australia, we can't.
No.
SG
They don't even
soft.
play with the Duke's balls anymore.
Oh, we're allowed to play with a Duke ball in some of the in the Sheffield Shield. They had a Duke's ball. They let that happen.
Yep.
The SG ball's too soft.
Yes.
Deliberately so, because it suits Indian conditions, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
No, it's interesting. All right. Okay. We've talked a bit about the New Zealand side in terms of you've got the bowling attack we've talked about. Let's just return back to the Indian side for a minute. There's still a lot of discussion about Siraj. I'm still hearing from both Kohli, Shastri, a lot of the other media that I'm talking to, there's a strong expectation Siraj will play in the World Test Championship.
Yes, he will. Because the Indian team.
I think if he plays, then Ishant Sharma has to go. Maybe.
Yep. I agree.
Either way, because Siraj has much variations than Ishant.
So you're playing Shami though?
Yes.
Shami.
Bumrah, Shami, Siraj.
And spinner,
And then-
either Ashwin or Jadeja. Who would that be?
I think what is happening is they are making a pitch. Looking at the conditions, they are probably going to play both Ashwin and Jadeja. Maybe. Why? You don't want a long tail. Ashwin Jadeja inclusion will mean that you have batting till number 8. If you don't have confidence even in that, the dark horse could be don't play Siraj, play Shardul Thakur. Maybe the dark horse. So you have Thakur, you have Bumrah, you have Shami, your batting is still number 9.
But still, do we really need 2 spinners? I think 1 is more than enough.
But it's Southampton, and if it is a dry condition, I mean, they're expecting the pitch and the weather conditions in Southampton to be hot and dry. That's the assumption. So if the weather is hot and if the pitch is dry, then 2 spinners will definitely come into the equation. I mean, they used 2 spinners even in Australia. I mean, in Melbourne, there definitely it wasn't a 2-paced wicket. I mean, they played 2 spinners even there. In Sydney and Melbourne traditionally doesn't figure 2 spinners, but they did play there. They played to their strengths. Ashwin will get a better nod because he's got a great record against left-handers and he's got a great record against Williamson. Jadeja is a great fielder, but he has a great record against Taylor and De Grandhomme.
Then what about Akshar Patel? Will he play?
Akshar Patel's got no chance. No chance. Either in the England tests, they rest Jadeja and play Akshar. Maybe. That might be the only way possible. You're talking about Akshar. What about Umesh Yadav? What about even Ishant? Can you believe it? Siraj is going to displace a 100-test veteran in Ishant for Southampton. That is the depth you've got.
It looks pretty certain the way that Kohli's talking. He's talking about Siraj almost every time he talks.
Yep.
And they're working out a way to have a plan to have Siraj in the team. And it may well be Ishant Sharma. Because Ishant Sharma probably won't be that upset because he'll be able to play in the Test series post that. He'll play his share of games in that. He'll understand that. He won't be happy, but he'll have to understand that So okay, give me your 11 then. I'll go now. Actually, what's your 11? What's your Indian 11 for the World Test Championship?
I think opening will be Rohit and Shubman Gill. That's for sure. Rohit, Shubman, then Virat, then Rahane.
Pujara?
Then, Pujara, then Rahane. Then Rishabh Pant. Then we'll have, I think, Jadeja. Either Jadeja or Ashwin. Not sure about them. Then comes Siraj, maybe. Siraj. Then Bumrah, Shami. And Ishant, I'm not sure Ishant.
That's 11. That's 11. Okay, that's you've got. Let's repeat what you said. Rohit Sharma and Gill. Then you got Rohit Sharma and Gill. You got Pujara, Kohli, Rahane, and Punt. That's 6. Then you're saying both spinners. That's 8, and then the 3 paces of Bumrah, Shami, and Siraj. That's 11. That's your 11. What about yours, Siddharth?
Okay. Let me just add a bit of excitement into this. Rohit, instead of Gill, KL Rahul. Why not KL Rahul?
I agree.
For the conditions in England, in 2018, in that last test, he scored 149. So you have got solidity. Maybe early swing at that time might make Rahul vulnerable, but why not KL Rahul? Why not? Gill might be a certainty because he did well against Australia and in England. Let's see. Yeah. Rohit, Shubman / KL Rahul, Pujara at 3, Kohli at 4, Rahane at 5, 6 is Rishabh Pant. Now this is where the major issue of problem of plenty arises. You got Jadeja. If the conditions are dry, play Ashwin also, 7 and 8. Siraj / Ishant, Bumrah, Shami. That's my 11. Because you can't ignore 2 spinners. I mean, if you have 4 bowlers, then your tail becomes slightly longer. A long tail in a World Test Championship final might necessarily not be the right idea. You're talking about no Akshar Patel. What about Washington Sundar? Washington Sundar also did brilliantly against Australia and England. There's no Washington Sundar. So where do you slot him? You can't replace him with Ashwin. You can't. Ashwin will definitely play Jadeja / Akshar / Sundar. I don't know. Thakur
Jadeja's fielding is worth a lot as well.
Yeah.
His fielding is extremely important.
Plus his accuracy with the ball. He'll hardly give you any loose balls. That is the best part.
And he's a wicket-taking bowler. He's a wicket-taking bowler. He's taken a couple of test matches.
And if you look at the England tests, there is not a single frontline spinner from England in both the tests. So you throw in Jadeja and Ashwin in the mix, New Zealand might be confounded. Okay, we are expecting this pitch to seam, but I'll go by what Shane Warne always says. If it seems, it spins. So in that way, they may play 2 spinners in that sense.
And New Zealand haven't had a chance to face quality spinners in preparation on these pitches as well, which can go against them somewhat, you would argue.
Indeed, indeed. But for experience, I would say for a big final, just a bit of excitement. Shubman Gill instead of, remove Shubman Gill, get KL Rahul in. Why not?
Even Gill didn't play really well against England, right? He didn't play well.
He didn't play well in England. He didn't. But again, he's got the experience. He's the only guy to have got all centuries in all formats after Rohit Sharma. He's the only guy, so why not?
Agarwal's there as well, isn't he?
No,
Agarwal? Yeah, lost form. Agarwal's lost form, unfortunately.
Well, he's a bit like Kohli with Yadav. He hasn't had a chance.
When he got the chance, he failed in the Adelaide pink ball test. He failed there. He didn't do well in the Brisbane test. So that's why I think his form has dipped. In the last 1 year, it's dipped. It's dipped ever since India went out of their shows. His form dipped when they came to New Zealand. It's not been the same since.
So this is something that I wanted to bring up. Patel Gamers must be running some betting ring. I don't know what he is doing. His predictions are New Zealand 43, India 41, draw 16. I think you could argue, you could say 42, 16. I really don't think either side can truly say they've got an advantage here.
Yeah, it's too close to call. I think it would be too close to call. Because the build-up has been so different for both the teams. New Zealand have played 3 games, India haven't played any. But India don't need warm-up games to just get going. So that's why they are... Probably it's very close.
You know, I have to say this so-called warm-up match between the two entrant teams could actually be more damaging than helpful. Why? Because you're going to get bowlers that you're not going to face in the match, for one.
Yeah.
You really, then the players who are in the side are not going to be playing to their heart's content. They're going to be measured because they don't want to damage themselves. It's almost psychologically, I think it's bad when women's cricket have prep games for their matches. Women play under 19 men's teams. First of all, they get smacked by the boys, right? Which is demoralising. And why would you do that? They're not going to be playing these boys in the real game. They don't need to do these things. You don't need to expose players to things they won't be exposed to in the match. India won't be facing their own bowlers or bowling to their own batters. So I don't get it. I don't, because in the old days, no one did that.
Yep.
You had next practice, you went and played.
Indeed, and warm-up games at that time had quality players as well. They don't serve you a B team or a C team at that time. Nowadays they do. That's why the novelty of a warm-up game or anything has been lost. So I agree with the BCCI and the Indian team don't have a warm-up game. If it doesn't benefit you, it doesn't benefit you.
Or you could have played an English county side if they were allowed to go into the bubble. I would have liked that.
Yeah, but again, if you serve up the playing 11 of a C team, then there's no point.
Yeah. Okay, we've got some questions here about the Rahul thing. Is a very good point. Norman, India can play one extra batsman with 4 bowlers looking at England conditions. So they could go with a Vihari or an Agarwal or something, or even Rahul, and not have the 2 spinners. Could they do that?
Again, where would you slot them in? Because you've got Rahane, you can't drop Rahane. You've got Pant. The batting order is sorted.
No, but
we're
talking about, Siddharth, we're talking about, say, just keep the same batting order, Sharma, Gill, Pujara, Kohli, Rahane, and then adding another batsman in then before or after punts and having one less bowler.
Difficult. Again, composition issues. You either if you keep Vihari after Pant, that's Pant bats at 7. Then your 4 pacers, you'll have Ashwin at 8. You'll play only 3 pacers then. 3 pacers and only 1 spinner. That'll be Shami, Siraj, and Bumrah. So you're actually missing out on one major bowler if that's the case. Because why have included Ashwin and Jadeja? Why have included Ashwin and Jadeja? Because both are bowling all-rounders. If you had Thakur, you have 3 bowling all-rounders. But Thakur may not play because Siraj has already gotten a preference. So Siraj, Shami and Bumrah. Then Ashwin and Jadeja. So you've got your batting sorted out till number 8. You've got 5 bowlers as well. What more do you want?
No. I don't think they're going to do it. They're going to keep 5 bowlers. They're going to keep the 3 pacers and 2 spinners and then have 6 batters. I think that's with Pant being an all-rounder, as in batting and keeping.
Yep.
Okay, there's 2 things that this fellow has brought. Okay, we'll go back a bit. I saw Music Harmony put together his team. Here, look at that. This is interesting. I rather think this is quite dramatic.
Yeah, Gill, Sundar, Pujara, Virat, Rahane, Pant, Jadeja, Ashwin, Shardul, Siraj, Bumrah. Sundar. Left-hand, right-hand combination, Gill and Sundar. Wow.
There's a lot of it. Nilakshi?
Yeah, Nilakshi?
You mean Sundar in number 2, but he's a bowler. Can't play number 2.
Well,
he can
Sundar
bat.
did open in IPL for RCB. He was a failure. One game.
But I think
But he,
Rohit is
yeah. Okay, unless he's a sitting duck for either Trent Bolt or Tim Southee, then maybe you can get Sundar in. But again, Sundar as an opener, that'll be too radical. Too radical.
And Rohit Sharma was dropped.
It's a final match. They won't take a risk.
Nah. They won't. That's. I mean, but he did say a disclaimer. I know the 11 will never look like this. He did give a disclaimer, so it's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a bit of. Look, you know, Gill's not in the best of forms coming into this series.
Yes.
Rohit Sharma, you would argue, is not either. I'm talking about the World Test Championship. I'm not talking about the Test Series. But I don't know. I just wonder. Okay, so I want you to give me a team of purely who is in form in the team, not about who we all expect and who's got proven capabilities, who's actually in form.
Okay, in form.
Okay,
If I
I don't
look
want
at
to hear because history.
If I had to look at recent Test series, yeah, Nilakshi, tell me.
Go on.
Rohit is in form. Then Rohit, then your Pant, he's also in his best form. Then Jadeja, Ashwin. He's not in form. Then Rahane, I'm not sure. He's not consistent.
Well, okay, let's just take Music Harmony's team for a minute, okay? Gill shouldn't be there.
Yep.
Pujara, yes. Virat, yes. Rahane, no.
I would say yes.
Okay, all right. Punt, yes. Jadeja, Ashwin, yes. But you can't say Gill needs to stay. You can't say that. Going back to Australia, you can. When he played in Australia, yes. Is that what you're hanging your hat on?
But if you have to look at it, Jadeja didn't play the England tests also.
No.
So heading into the test match, he's a bit under the weather as far as match fitness is concerned. He played the IPL and everything is great. Yeah.
He's also he's the best fielder in the world. So
indeed, but this is in current form. Form-wise, Ashwin deserves to be there. Jadeja, because he hasn't played for 6 tests. So 50-50 on that. Shardul gave you that win in Brisbane. Sundar did. Sundar was good even in the England series.
Yeah.
Bumrah was rotated. Bumrah didn't play.
Siraj
did. Yeah. Shami and Bumrah didn't play. Yeah. From Adelaide onwards. Bumrah didn't play from Sydney onwards. So
Bumrah played no matches in India. That's not true. He played.
No, he played.
He got married.
Yeah, he got married. He didn't. I don't think he played the Ahmedabad tests, and neither did he play the England, the Chennai tests, because I think he didn't recover significantly from that injury he suffered.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it? When you talk about playing from form, then we start throwing more players out than in. It's quite hilarious, actually.
Indeed. So when was his last test? Oh yeah, he did play the 4th test in Ahmedabad, but he didn't take many wickets. He didn't.
No. Okay. They're not going to change. I don't think India's going to change that much. Sharma and Gill will open. You'll have Pujara, Kohli, Rahane. Because it's a final, it's meant to be the best players who are proven in finals as well. You could argue maybe, but yeah, I think the only change will be that Sundar's not playing, Sharma's in. You'll have Shardul's the possible bolt, but Siraj is definitely in. Shami's in. And again, there was a question earlier on about there's been a leaked discussion. There's been leaked discussions where Virat Kohli and even Shastri have said Shami and Siraj are in. That's pretty much been spoken about. Virat leaked in a press conference. Also, now this is Rishabh Sapati doesn't know where we're all from. Well, if you don't know me, that's okay, because I can half understand it. Seeing it's this channel and it's my channel. No, I'm from Australia. I'm from Sydney, Australia. Siddharth is from
Delhi.
Say it's your job to say.
I'm from Delhi.
From Delhi. And Nilakshi?
I'm from
Assam. It's funny because we had one of the other guys at my program, another Aussie guy. He was saying Delhi perfectly, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, he said Delhi. I laughed. It sounded very Greek.
Oh yes.
All right. Now we've digressed. We've digressed back to the World Test Championship. It's natural to do that. Let's go back to today's match. The conditions are overcast. Munchie told us earlier. He was telling us it was overcast, which means there will be some movement in the air. I would expect that England will be all out probably before lunch, maybe in the first hour's play, if not earlier. That means we'll see Broad and Anderson bowling with great effect. They will be bowling with Mark Wood, Ollie Stone, who I thought was very impressive in India. I thought he played very well. So they've got a pretty good bowling set. You've got Stone, Wood, Anderson, and Broad. And again, they're going to use Root as the fifth spin bowling option.
Root.
Yeah, he seems to back himself. But New Zealand's batting, I'm particularly excited about seeing, well, Conway, of course, but Will Young. They're raving about his form in county cricket in England. He was apparently a standout performer in the early part of the year, and it'll be exciting to see him play. And Ross Taylor's got to get his act together. He's due for runs.
Yep, he is.
And now the second is he went for it. He was going for it, trying to get the match over quicker. That was quite commendable, but quite frankly, we haven't seen him bat to his true form. I want to see him bat well. Blundell can bat. He scored a century for New Zealand not long ago. And Daryl Mitchell can bat too. So they've got a bit of batting. Wagner can have a hit. Even Henry's not that bad, I can remember. But yeah, New Zealand, they've got a nothing to lose attitude at the moment because they've got 7 players out. So they probably are not expected to win this match. I just don't think it's good form, Siddharth. The fact that they've had 7 people resting before the match, I'm not necessarily happy with that. That's my thoughts. Anyway.
I mean, as I said, the resting of Saudi made no sense. Absolutely no sense.
No.
If you had to rest Jameson, that was good. Santner injury, unfortunately, Watling injury, Williamson injury. So yes, you had to keep your best players injury free. So yes, it made sense for them to rest them for this match. But not playing Saudi, I just can't make sense of that.
Now, actually, what were we going to say?
Yeah, resting Saudis really seems pointless.
Yeah.
Pointless, yes, indeed.
I agree. Totally agree. Music Harmony thinks, believe it or not, Root is the best spin England have right now.
Oh, yeah.
Leach is better. Leach is better than that.
Yeah, I mean, Leach.
Are you from the Darrang district? No. Vassam? No. Okay.
Kamrup.
We'll leave that.
One Assamese is asking another Assamese, so they'll be really knowing.
Kamrup district.
Kamrup.
So, what's this? Sharari Gayatri saying Ashwin Butler relationship? What?
You forgot what happened in 2018 IPL, the Mankading incident. Ashwin mankaded Joss Butler.
Yes.
And since then, things were never the same.
Well, do you really think?
Yeah, I mean, look, I will only say one thing about the English players. I mean, Butler has been on the receiving end of the Mankading thing twice in his career. In that 2014 ODI series against Sri Lanka, Senanayake mankaded him. That led to a change in the rule. Because now you had to warn the bowler, the batsman. Now you don't have to even warn them. Now, Ashwin saw Butler going out. He mankaded him. Now, everybody's saying that's not the spirit of the game. But England always have had the convenience of the spirit of the game. Whenever they deem like it doesn't suit them, they hide behind the spirit of the game curtain. So it was like, look at the Ian Bell incident of 2011. He had no business venturing out. Dhoni was every right to run him out in Trent Bridge. But India decided to call him back. That is not against the spirit of the game. The batsman was foolish. He stepped out. And then you claim you don't know. I mean, I have a big problem about the English interpretation of the spirit of the game. They make it for their own convenience. When others do it, they say it's not the spirit of the game. Strange.
Well, technically, you're allowed to do it. And technically, you're not supposed to be out of your crease. So I don't get what the problem is. What if a batsman's batting out of his crease, the keeper can't stump him first go? Same process. Does the keeper catch the ball and go, excuse me, you're out of your crease? No, he stumps him.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I mean, why must the batsman get an additional advantage? Stay behind the crease. And if the bowler runs you out, cuts you out, that's your fault, not the bowler's fault.
It's exactly as a batsman batting out of his crease gets stumped. You don't go, oh, look, I won't stump you this time. Get back in your crease. No, why? So it's the same principle.
Exactly.
I'll give you, if you can see my hands. See how when the ball comes to me, I'm using two hands to catch the ball. That's the traditional way wicketkeepers would catch, like that. When you get a wicketkeeper that catches like this and goes like that, the speed of stumping, like when you're a keeper against you spin, you normally give that little moment and then you go forward. When a keeper's at their best, like little, what's her name? Rebecca Van Dort from Sri Lanka. She is an actual softballer. She catches the ball with one hand and goes bang. Doesn't go back, goes, meets the ball and continues going forward. It's the most slickest stumping I've ever seen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Norman, what's your predictions for today's match is going to start?
Okay, yep. Well, good point. We need to talk about that. I think England will be all out under 300. I think they won't take long to get them out, especially in the early overs. Bolt will come in and take some quick wickets. They'll be all out for less than 300. And New Zealand will admirably be close to their score by the end of the day.
Absolutely. I hope so. But again, Edgbaston has not been a good venue for New Zealand. They collapse very frequently there. And it was in Edgbaston that we saw James Anderson Part 2, version 2.0. That swing that he got to get rid of Aaron Redmond and McCullum, that outswing, unplayable. Since then till now, Anderson's been the best, period.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so what do you think, Nalakshi?
I think England will all out for around 380. Let's say.
380?
Whoa.
No, 80 or something, 75 or like that.
She means England can go past 350 today.
Yeah, if Dan Lawrence is still there, and we have seen Anderson bat little bit.
Well, I just hope then Wagner bounces the hell out of them and just says bye-bye.
It's funny, because Stuart Broad was once a very good batter. A very good batter. He's fallen apart.
Yeah, I think after that bouncer which Varun Aaron hit him on the head with, I think he's not been the same since.
No.
What's your
Nalakshi, how many runs will England be when their innings is finished? How many runs will they be? 280.
I would say about 280, 290. They will end at 280, 290. New Zealand, looking at the overhead conditions and the pitch today, I hope they don't lose more than 5 wickets.
I predict Will Young will get a lot of runs. He's been in tremendous form for county cricket, and he will be itching to play.
Yep, indeed.
Conway and Latham being captain, the top three will command a lot of respect in this match.
Yes.
So here we go. If this is funny, Abhinav said that if England crossed 350, Nalakshi deserves an Oscar. All right, we'll see what happens next year. They get more than 350. You're going to get an Oscar from Abhinav. He's going to crown him. And he also predicts. I don't think they're going to get 350. 280, 290, like what Siddharth said. That's my predictions there. You wouldn't believe we have big audiences that come late, huge audiences that come late.
Yep.
People are coming out of the woodwork to see this end of this match. So, all right, we've got the game's about to start, guys. I want to thank you to all three of you. Thank you, Nalakshi, for being here. Thank you, Siddharth, for being here. Tomorrow
Anytime.
I'll be on earlier. It'll be more like 6 o'clock, not 6:30. Oh, actually tomorrow. Oh, it's going to be very hard for me because I'm actually going to be in the middle of a rugby league match. But we'll do our best. All it means I will be at that ground. I'll get some very impressive guests to be with us. It'll be a bit loud, so I'll have my headpiece on. So we'll definitely have it at 6 o'clock. All right, 6 o'clock tomorrow. All right?
I'll try. If there are no meetings, I'll come.
Okay. Thank you, Nalakshi. It's been wonderful having you on. Thank you, Siddharth. All right, guys, we're going to be
Thanks, Norman.
Again,
bye, Nalakshi.
Ciao. See you, Nalakshi. You, Siddharth, you both can go.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. Okay, that was great having those two lovely people on. So, some good discussion. Rabbitohs will win, yes. Rabbitohs are playing Newcastle Knights tomorrow at the ground. I'll be there with Mike around ready. We'll have a chat. So, this is Norman Kostek. I wanted to just finish up thanking you all. We've got different balls. The old Kookaburra there. A bit of outswing, a bit of inswing, a bit of spin. So Norman Kostek wants you to view, like, and share. So view, like, and share, and subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe. If you're watching this and not subscribing, I don't understand why. You should be doing that. All right, so view, like, share, and subscribe. Become a member if you want to as well. Most of the clothing you've seen before. It was a lovely discussion. So you can come watch me tomorrow. Enjoy the match. The match is about to start, guys. If you've got any last questions, please ask. I'm quite happy to hear your questions. Anyone got some questions they want to ask me? Pastel Gamers, can you join? You can join the discussion there. Go to my Instagram, Norm Koch, NORMKOCH. Give me your email address. We'll have a chat, and you can be on if you want to be, okay? And I did see the West Indies South Africa game, and it was incredible. That 90-odd total was disgraceful. Great South African bowling. Come back to the 4-bet, which is really good to see. All right, guys, we've got the game starting now. Let's have a look at the stories of the game. We've got the live action is on now, and I can see Lawrence has already scored a single. All right, guys, so thanks again. Join Clubhouse Norman. What's Clubhouse Norman Music Hunting? Is that your clubhouse? Or come to my clubhouse? There's a brilliant spell at Norgay and Nagidi. Yes, that's right. So if you want to be a part of this channel, like Nalakshi was today, go to my Instagram handle, Norm Koch, NORMKOCH, or my Twitter, Norm Koch, and send me your details and I'll get you on. Okay? Clubhouse Norman. I like that music harmony. Clubhouse. Do you call it Clubhouse Norman? Yeah. Clubhouse Norman I like. Why don't we call that? We can make it Clubhouse Norman as a social media platform like Twitter. Oh, Clubhouse is a social media. Okay, I've never heard of Clubhouse. Send me the details. I don't know about it. I've never heard of it before. All right. So again, my Twitter handles are Norm Koch. You can see it there. See? At Norm Koch. And my Instagram is also at Norm Koch. And subscribe to this channel, guys. New Zealand will score about 240. I reckon you're wrong. That's an audio platform. So it's an audio platform. It's basically like a podcast platform. Is that what you're saying? Send me the details, Music Hum. You've got me on LinkedIn already, so do it, okay? You'll send me the details. Okay, good. All right, guys. How are we going time-wise? I think it's time we need to get back to the game. Have you all seen my post, my video, Australian fan reaction? It's got some 134,000 views. It's really well. All right, guys. So Pat Tell Gamers, send me Music Harmony, Abhinav, all of you, come and see me, come and talk to me. Clash with D, what is your views on India and New Zealand? We've talked about that. Well, that's already been discussed earlier on. we're saying there's a 42%, 16% draw. So very even and very balanced. All right, guys, we need to be able to watch the game. You want to watch the game, don't you? So anyone that's joined me, you can all go now. You've got 31 online. I don't know why you've got somebody online. You should be watching the game. I don't think India's got a live coverage of the match between England and New Zealand, which is very unfortunate. We do in Australia, and I could even turn it on. Quite amusing. I'll have a look. Yeah, so I'm just getting. Okay, so Shaban was meant to be here as well. So a few people were not here. I'm just trying to get a hold of the. So we've got Foxtel. Foxtel Go is an app. Foxtel. And watch the game there. David Lloyd with Nasser Hussain. All right, guys, it's time for us to go. I'd love to be able to show that, but I really can't. I'm not supposed to be doing it. So in comes Matt Henry to bowl. And Lawrence lets him go. All right. I'm going to be watching this game, guys. So I'll see you tomorrow, 6 p.m. from the ground. You get in there, okay? The telecast Zimbabwe versus Swan Games too. Okay, you get the telecast of Zimbabwe. Okay, very good. All right, guys. Unless you've got specific questions for me, I'll probably need to go now. Any specific questions you got for me? England 7 for 263. Matt Henry certainly playing well. All right, guys. It's time for me to go. All right. So, you haven't got any more questions? No more questions. We've got a couple more seconds. We've got another question to ask of me. As you can see, eyes on cricket with Norman Kochnik. You've got the eyes on cricket there as well. Got that, and we got that. Okay, and we've also got that. I've got several of these. And we'll just all right, guys. All the best here. But Sans Caliber's joined us. Make sure, Sans Caliber, you actually subscribe as well. All right, guys. We'll talk soon again. Watch the match now. You're looking at Patel. He looks a bit like a Jadeja. Actually, there's quite a bit of Jadeja about his appearance. Quite impressive indeed. So, yeah, guys. Any other questions? Abhinav? Music Harmony. I would like to have you on the show as well. Patel. Even touch with D. Okay. Samuel Reddy wanted some views on Harumi Vihari. I think he should be playing in the test. That means one less spinner. But it doesn't look like they're going to do that. Okay. All right, guys. I can't sub my email on Instagram. You send me a message privately on that, and I'll send it to you. Okay. All right. So we've got. Just having a quick look at the situation here. Lawrence is 68. Wood has got moved to 20. 134 there. Just having a look at the scores. All right, guys. We'll talk soon. No more questions. I'll be going. So all the best. So view, like, and share. View, like, and share. Go about also subscribing, joining our membership level where you can talk to people directly, also be a part of the merchandising I've got there. We'll see each other tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Indian time, 6 p.m. Australian time. And I think it's something like 9 a.m. or in the land of England. All right, we'll see each other soon. Munchie will be here then too. Bye-bye. All the best, guys. Ciao. There's more people joining the group. Norman Kochnik, Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnik. View, like, and share. I've also got a podcast, which you can see on Apple and also on Spotify. So look at that same title, same everything. So I'm Alvils. I'm going now. I'm Alvils. Join us tomorrow at 6 o'clock, all right? All the best, guys.